mic is working. We got some mic action in this thing.
All
Goddamn
right.
wireless microphones are robbing the people. We got some real shit going on over here. What? I know, right? A little feedback. I'm fine with it. It feels like it's right on par with my thing, you know? My whole attitude on this, I've said it before, is basically just like public access plus. That's it. We just want to go one step above. If you're not interested, hop over to a different channel. They're making a birdhouse or some shit. You can watch that. You guys feeling good tonight in North Hollywood?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I do want to say really quick before we get into it that if you are watching this on any platform in particular, I don't know, maybe you're on Chatterbait or Pornhub. This stuff gets everywhere. We're all over the internet. It's amazing. But please go to YouTube and subscribe to Fourth Wall TV. We get a lot of awesome shows going on here all the time. We got Behind the Fourth Wall with Travis Clyburn. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. We got a lot of shows. So subscribe to Fourth Wall TV on YouTube. Ring that little bell or whatever it is. I love saying ring that bell and doing this motion. It's one of my favorite things. I know, right? You get it. Yeah, so please like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we're also, I love to announce, very exciting, we are now on fucking iTunes as well.
All right.
Cool. It's like we're a real podcast and shit like that. It's all right. I'm gonna do a little dance to it, man, because this is what I'm feeling right now, is all of the group. Right? Jesus Christ. Let's get right fucking into it. Let's talk about this week. Should I switch to the other mic before I start doing this?
Not you. It's mine.
Oh, okay. Why don't you just click yours off? There we go. No problem. Hey, see? Solving problems on the fly. Doing it fucking live. That's how we do business. Now yeah, all right. You can't hear me now. No worries. I'm going to get the other mic that's already on stage. Or can you? Yeah. There it is. Cool. No, we got our shit together over here. Oh, my God. I'm so glad we're live right now and that there might be people watching us do this. That's my favorite thing. Let's talk about Venezuela. Okay. Fuck yeah. So this week, a coup against President Maduro in Venezuela was put into action. The right was given a beautiful gift in the way of talking points. They love this. I don't know if you've noticed how much they love to shout about Venezuela on Fox News, or to be fair, on this show.
Look at Venezuela. Oh, Venezuela! Venezuela! Venezuela, everybody! How did I know he was going to go to Venezuela?
Yeah. So I mean, it gets around. It gets around. But this is the perfect cocktail for the right. They love this. We got an example of socialism gone wrong, right? Suffering brown people. And poor, tired, huddled masses yearning to be free. In fact, I don't think that we've seen this many Fox News anchors hard since, well, I don't know, they lock the kids in cages or whatever. Now I think about it, it's actually their thing. They do this all the time. It's their favorite thing that happens. I put the hard-hitting jokes first, always. I want to hit you fucking hard and then grab it up. Okay. So this week we all learned that Congress will be launching an investigation into the 2016 inaugural committee. Yeah, the use of funds and reports indicate that the investigation is focused almost entirely on the Trump family themselves, or as I like to call them, the Washington Orange Skins. $25 million fee paid to Ivanka Trump's best friend for consulting. You guys hear about this? They paid one of her buddies like $25 million to consult. Has more eyebrows raised than when Trump kisses his daughter. That happens a lot. It's weird. Nobody likes it. He finally got let back in the House, this dirty dog, this week for the State of the Union address. He spoke of an unprecedented economic boom, which he called miraculous. Miraculous economic boom, which is fair, because like all miracles, it didn't happen. Okay. I don't know if we've gotten to religion on this show yet, but boom, there's how I feel about it. He claimed 5 million Americans were lifted off of food stamps. Lifted off of food stamps. Lifted, of course, being political jargon for starved to death. No longer alive. I don't know, maybe he meant lifted to heaven. I have no idea. We're finding out there have been so many instances of blackface on politicians in Virginia that shoe polish makers are just putting it on the label. Do not apply directly to face. Fucking don't do it. We didn't know we had to say it. I know. You guys have to understand, though. Like, I'm from Texas. We got anybody here from the South at all? A little bit? Right? Like, the times have changed, right? That's what they like to say. That's just what you have to understand, that when years ago in the 80s, these jokes were okay. KK. They were allowed to do them. Finally, Roger Stone is fighting a gag order about his trial, claiming, and he really said this, I'm not Kim Kardashian, right? We're all trying to figure out what that means. Doesn't even make any sense. Besides, we all know one thing about Kim Kardashian. It's that she doesn't gag. I think it's... All right, fucking... We got a fucking great show for you guys tonight. You excited for this fucking show? We're about to get it going. Before we get to our first guest, I want to take a look really quickly at some stuff that's going on here behind the fourth wall. Let's take a look.
Look, okay, this is the first time I've sat on camera with someone.
Fuck yeah. Wonderful
and our heads
stuff,
are
guys.
almost the same. Normally it's like I did a podcast with a
Chris
comic
Heist,
named,
get your sexy ass up here.
What was his name?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I literally had to sit like this the whole podcast as he leaned forward, like Dumb and Dumber style, right?
Dude, so every one of my pictures like that I take with my mom, my sister, my brother back home, like I'm always in the background, like leaning back, just so our heads will be the same size.
Dude, I don't know what that is, man. Like, what size is your head? Do you know?
7.5, 7.75, something like that. That's my hat size.
Yeah, right where you're standing.
To brag, because it's not a brag,
No, dude,
because
you're great at
I
it.
can't wear hats. 8.
Kyle, which camera am I doing the
Solid
intro to?
shit.
Solid 8, my friends.
Damn, you got a big head.
I know. I
Okay,
walked
cool.
into Lids, or at the time it was Hat
Have a
World,
seat, buddy.
Yeah.
Blocking the
and this guy looked like he was stoned out of his mind. He was just like a young Mexican kid, and I was like, "Do you guys have 8s?" And he went,
Right?
No.
All right, so we got level on Mike D.
But I met a guy who works at Flappers. I can't remember his name for the life of me. His head size is a...
Yeah, we were there.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, cool.
appropriately.
Holy
Yeah, because it's like, I've got a giant head, you got a big head.
Oh, I'm not
7.5.
What do you
old.
gotta do to
I'm
have
not a
a...
reference, but yes.
Dude, like...
All right, we're
your
about to
poor
be back.
mom.
Everybody, let's get some big applause when you see the
How the
Football TV
fuck
logo
did that
up there.
happen?
That means we're
Oh my
back
god, it's
on
so
this
big.
shit.
It's so much head.
Very close. And
That's-
watch Travis's show.
Hey.
All right, everybody. We are back tonight. I'm so excited for this one-on-one guest. This guy's amazing. I've seen you at countless mics. You get up and you talk about crazy-ass shit. And I'm so excited to get deeper into that crazy shit with you tonight. Everybody, please welcome my guest, Chris Heist. Everybody. Absolutely. It's going good, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to make it really...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right? We got the power. We got the love. So I want to make it really simple. My premise to you. If people are curious. First of all, thanks for getting dressed up. I want to start with that. It means the world to me. Second thing, you say a lot on stage. I've heard you say the phrase, like, we're talking about the wrong shit. You're like, everyone's talking about the wrong things. And I get the sense that what you mean by that is, like, people bitching about politics and government. It's like, you're right to bitch, but the things you're bitching about are misdirected. Is that kind of what I get from that?
I don't know, or oversimplified. I don't know. There's a, the world is complicated. I understand to some degree that people like go towards this more obvious shit, but yeah, there's a lot of shit that we don't.
So what do you think is the number one thing that like people don't even fucking ever even say that we should be talking about as far as like, you know?
The core of our regime is corrupt as fuck.
Sure. What do you mean
should
by
be-
that?
What?
What do you mean by that?
The
I
whole
agree with
damn
you.
Thing, the whole damn thing is like so irredeemably flawed
Right.
that it should be brought down immediately.
Is that the notion of like democracy, or you think like
No,
that's
no.
not happening and that's why we gotta
that's
fucking
not
burn it
happening.
down?
We have corporate rule.
Right. It's like an oligarchy essentially is what we live under, right?
That's one way of putting it.
That's how I feel about it, and I feel like since especially we're also the executive branch seems to be run by Russia now, it's like double the oligarchs, right?
It's. I mean, there's no need for help from other countries. The core of our regime is comfortably ruling without the help of other oligarchs. But although I'm sure they do a lot of business with them.
So if something could be done, what the fuck would we do to
Non-violently
burn down the regime?
No, non-violently overthrow it.
How does one do that? You look like you know.
Their book. Read Martin Luther King's books and Gandhi's books. It's doable.
I don't feel like reading books is enough. I want to read
You gotta
books
do
and
it.
get the
You gotta
info.
do it.
Dude, I'm not anti-reading books. I'm not trying to say that I'm against reading. I'm just saying like, all right, cool, we all read, now we know the shit, now what? What do we do? What do people fucking do? That's the thing there.
and
Okay,
think
we
and
organize.
read and talk and.
Oh, so we're doing it now.
protest and-
Does this
yeah,
count?
I mean, to some degree, it really takes a lot of people getting together in
Right.
like large numbers and, you know, making gains with
Right.
that type of
All right, so let me back up then. I want to ask this. No. I'm curious. You say you're from Florida originally,
Yeah.
or at least more recently, right? What were you doing out there before you moved here? I know a little bit, but tell
College
it.
math tutor.
College math tutor. Specifically, what were you tutoring math-wise?
Calculus mostly.
And you said your students were. I'm trying to make the connection. I want to make sure I understand that you were teaching a lot of them, and you feel like you were basically building a group of people that would then go into this industry, like the war machine.
That's just natural. It doesn't matter where you are. Like every, yeah, hell yeah. Every community college and college in America funnels its engineering departments and math departments a substantial proportion into the industry.
Right.
That's just a fact of technical.
That's not us.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I think it's happening on the other side. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah, that's just a function of technology, I guess.
So do you feel like that you bailed on teaching people math because you didn't want people to know how to make bombs? Is that like?
No.
That's the
I have a
super
bit of even
simplified
about
version
that.
I
Like,
took away.
I don't I rag on myself for having some culpability in that, but I really think at a certain point it's a person's own responsibility to.
I hear you. I
just because I taught them calculus, they fucking work for Raytheon.
Right.
They're pieces of shit for working for Raytheon.
No, I hear that. It's very funny to me when you say you rag on yourself. I don't know why that's like to me. No? All right, because of this. All right, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Easy. All right, so let me ask you this, dude. You bail on the teaching kids math so that they won't, go make bombs. No, I understand. I'm just saying. In this context, right? So you're like, fuck that. Question: was your look in the classroom similar to it is now?
Well, it was a computer lab. I was a tutor. So yeah. I wore this for 3 years working there. They were cool with it.
You showed up to a job every single day dressed like this and got to go back to that job the next day.
Yeah.
See, that's, I think, very important for people to know. That's
people,
possible. I think
some bosses are cool.
It's
It's rare. It's very rare, but yeah.
So what do you do out here for money now that you're not helping people?
Delivery. And I was working at a call center. I sort of still am, but like the delivery's easier, better. But yeah.
So you're Postmates and shit like that?
I don't want to advertise any particular shit program, but I deliver for.
Wait. I'm curious why you don't want to support one of these giant corporations. It seems like your total thing to like.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Corporate America.
So what do you think? What do you think is the answer as far as I feel like you're one of these people who's like fuck elections, right? Like they're all rigged and they're never worth.
No, I mean they are rigged, but they are also you can configure them so that they're not rigged.
Yeah.
You can. But it takes coordinate. I do vote because there's other important shit like legalization of drugs and such things.
Right. I'm fucking shocked that you're into that. Yes, absolutely. Did not see that coming.
There's other things too, but you don't just vote. You do a lot of things. You do a lot. You get involved.
Are you an involved person politically? Like, are you at rallies and shit like that?
Sometimes, like that? But I'm also like it's a complex mixture of optimism and apathy and pessimism and horror show. I'm not.
I think you just described your entire act in one sentence. It was like, this is a complex mixture. It's a little scary, but you can learn some shit.
I don't know. People just get. Yeah, most people don't like it.
Your comedy? I don't know about that.
Some people do. Most don't. But yeah.
Do you get people who come up to you afterwards and want to talk about the shit that you had on stage?
Sometimes.
What's the most common thing that people want to come up to you and say?
More aggressively talk to me.
Than what I'm doing?
But yeah, what's the sort of shit that?
What's the thing that you tend to agitate about people or whatever? They get off stage, they want to be like, I'm gonna come up here and talk to you about this fucking thing.
Well, I mean, it's not like. Usually, if people really want to talk about shit, it's because they got pissed at something I said.
So what pisses people off?
The fact that I shit on America and every other, like, a lot of things that people care about: religion, government.
That's okay, because
military shit,
that's
corporate
what this whole
shit.
show is
People
about.
love corporations, so.
Do they?
They do. They've been.
I don't know about
conditioned
that.
To do that.
I feel like people.
You'd be surprised. You get, like Americans are.
I just never hear anybody stand up and go, "Well, hey, the corporations are people too." Like they had to make a group of people and make a law for that to be
like,
true.
In the abstract, they kind of just love their whatever, put name brand there. Yeah.
We do like our brand associations, because I'll tell you one thing. Trader Joe's has way better deals, but they don't have the fucking label on it I like, so I don't go there. That's how fucking corporatist I am.
I've never been. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. But I only moved here 6 months ago, so.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've known you my entire life. I feel like, I'm not even joking, that number did surprise me, but you have that energy, I feel like it's just the sage that's present in my life. That's why I have you on the show.
I'm more of just a prick.
I'm not mad at stopping it there. Fucking Chris Heist, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. You can stay there. So we're gonna go to another quick break, and we will be back with my wonderful friend, Mr. Kyle Chrise. Everybody, let's take a look at this. Alex. Cool. All right, we are back.
Oh,
we're 100% back. We got a nice full shot of you putting on your mic there too. So we got a
the full shot.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Waka waka.
No, I get it. It's like a pun. Yeah. So guys, welcome back to Robbing the People. I'm so excited to have my next guest here. He has been on the show before. You saw him on episode 5 with Mr. Michael Ruggiero. You've both held. You're trying so hard just to be right. I feel like you're trying right now. It's like we're just old enough to remember the fucking rabbit ears on the TV. We're both like, oh wait, maybe if we just put a leg.
Rabbit ears.
I'm telling you. It's hard to tell people that I was born during the Reagan presidency, but I fucking was.
Is that a Beanie Baby?
We put foil on shit. Cut me some slack. All right. So normally we have a policy on the show where I don't invite people on who know what they're talking about. Fuck that. So what I've done instead tonight is made an exception for that, and I brought you on to talk about something that you know really, really well.
Well, yeah. Can we talk about something that Trump gets right?
I'm a little cynical, but let's go.
All right. He had his big speech the other day, and he said that, drugs have gotten cheaper than candy. And if you've been out on these streets like me, you know it's true, right? It's true. These fucking candy prices are insane. All right, I shop at all 600 7-Elevens between Coldwater Canyon and Laurel Canyon. Do you know what the standard candy price is right now? $1.99. Okay, one person is shocked. Sorry, Kyle, this isn't the 50s where you can get a Cadillac for a nickel.
All right, I thought you were going to talk about like prescription drugs or something, but we could talk about over-the-counter addictions if that's what you're talking about.
Well, when you walk in there, look, they showcase the giant size now. $1.90 for the giant. What happened to the standard size? It's a conspiracy. They're trying to hide it. It's down and to the left. Down and to the left.
I'm kind of like that too.
Well, speaking of getting gorged, it's not just candy prices. All right, look, I'm ordering pizza the other day. Well, hold on. Let's be honest. I'm ordering pizzas the other days. And I order Papa John's. Look, I know we're not supposed to be ordering Papa John's right now.
Yeah,
he's racist,
yeah.
Right? But I've been very forgiving to people with great coupons.
I don't know what it is about your whole look that, like, I already knew that. You know what I mean? I knew you'd forgive that if that was the deal.
Okay, so the coupon I had was it's 2 pizzas for $12, which is great,
Hell
right?
of a deal, sure.
Except when I get to the total, it's $20. $20. $20?
Yo, I get, yeah, it's a lot more. It's like $8 more. Where's that even? I mean, that's almost as much you paid in the first place.
And I can't figure out, I'm digging through the receipts, like, where's this $8 coming from? But then they print the
Receipt right on the box, and I've already got it covered in that garlic sauce. So I can't really tell. Like, where? Like $8? Like, is it sales tax? Because I'll pay my sales tax, right? I'm a fucking patriot, all right? But it turns out there's a $5 delivery fee. That's like 40%. We threw tea into the harbor for less than that.
That's true. What harbor was that again? The Pearl?
Pearl? Boston Harbor.
Oh, that's the one that's full of custard.
My favorite,
Right,
right? So $5 delivery fee, and that money doesn't go to the driver, right? So you can't even mug that asshole. GTA style, right?
No. That money's all going straight to Big Papa.
Yeah. So then you're tipping on top of that, too.
Yeah, sure. Look, I don't want to age myself, but I remember when the pizza places would deliver
For free out of the love of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
So do I, goddammit, I promise.
I avoided the Noid and never had to pay for it. You know, pretty soon it's going to be it's going to be more delivery fee than for the pizza. They're going to be like, oh, free pizza with every order, $20 delivery fee. It's oh, you don't think that's dark? That's worse than Blade Runner.
I'm not actually sure which ages you more, Blade Runner or the Noid. It's one of those two.
The Noid, that's a deep track, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But I will say I would go see a movie with like Ryan Gosling as the Noid. I would. They could reboot that one. I'll go see it.
totally. But
Got too deep for everyone. Too deep on the Noid jokes.
The truth is, it's not just Papa John's, all right? They're all doing it.
and they're all fucking bad. Domino's, they're trying to close Planned
Parenthood. Papa says the N-word. Little Caesars is literally a fascist.
Every Caesar is, even the little ones.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the pizza game, you've got to dance with the devil.
Yeah, that's true. The devil also notoriously hot and ready.
That's funny. That's funny.
Thanks, man.
Anyway, I don't know. If you're with me, I'm committing myself to no fee
Pizza in 2019, all right? Frozen only or pizza on demand, like Pizza Rev, Blaze.
Pizza, Pizza 90. All right, they're popping up everywhere. All right, no pizza.
Oh my God, it's not delivery, it's Kyle Chrise, everybody!
Thank you,
Damn,
Rob.
damn.
Thank you. No pizzas. No, get them. We'll get rid of them.
Oh my God, kids. All right, that's fucking halftime. That was fun, wasn't it? Like, nice little lighthearted thing about pizza after like all our regime is falling apart. We like to break things up a little bit over here. Let's take another quick moment. We're gonna look behind the fourth wall one last time to see some incredible stuff that's going on over here. Let's take a look.
Sign up into the society. I have no choice.
right.
That's the definition
you
of that.
live in a
You don't have
society
a
where
choice.
well, for one, you live in a society where you vote on everything. This is a representative
think Nick
democracy. Well, I highly doubt he votes, but maybe he
I
does.
voted for Donald Trump, but not willingly.
Get out! Anyway, so
It was
But you vote, and
it was an
you-
emergency
are
fucking
literally-
alarm button. It was like
Then
Trump,
let's put you on
Is
the-
that-
not Hillary.
Nick,
like
you
the way that's
didn't get
working
here
out?
by yourself. You
Bear,
didn't
we'll
get
put you right,
to sit on the stage by
you have,
the efforts and
batteries
the
online now?
labor of
You're
Nick
good, dude.
Jordan.
Hold on to it.
You are literally standing on top of a giant building and saying, "I'm floating in the air." No, you're not.
Just by the way,
dude.
we
You
lost
are
a feet
standing
above
on
that,
top of something
stage.
that was built a long
go.
time, 250
Let me know
years
about
in
By the
the
government, it
making.
wasn't.
Yes,
Yes, it
certainly
was. Yes,
Nick.
it absolutely
certainly
was.
So you
In
stand
the
on top
government,
of
name one person in the government
Why
that's
should
built
I name
anything
one-
in this society.
I don't understand how.
That has created
question.
any
Wait,
business.
wait.
Let's actually.
I don't.
that has
Let
any
me.
corporation.
No, let's.
Right? Cheat sheet. Just boys? All right. Welcome back, everybody. Our first panelist that is rounding out our beard quota for the night. We try to keep it high. It makes 2 for the entire show so far. I love this guy so much. Wonderful to have a legitimate Southerner on this show. Bair, everybody. Give it up for fucking Bair. Yes.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, dude, so happy that you're here. I'm glad you agreed to do this. You can also, if you saw earlier in the show, you can watch his full episode of Behind the Fourth Wall with Travis Clyburn. They had a great chat back here really late at night. So give that a watch. My next panelist, everybody, I want to say, first of all, thank you for dropping in, because we did have a cancellation, and this wonderful gentleman showed up to bail us out of that situation. You probably know him as Mega Man from Cosplay Comedy. That's probably where you've seen him. Everybody, Mr. Greg Benevent, everyone.
Thank you, yes.
All right.
I'm glad to be here too, yeah.
So tell me, because where are you from originally, Greg?
Pittsburgh.
Perfect.
Just north of the city.
I had a pretty good idea that you were a Yankee. I had a pretty good side of it. I know you guys in Pennsylvania
I've never even
don't.
thought of it as that word. But
I'm
yeah,
sure, well,
okay.
am I wrong? Anyone from Pennsylvania?
No, you're Yankee.
Those are the rules in the South.
There's a lot of, to stars and bars in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
I've seen that just driving around.
No, 100%. It is
driving my minivan very slowly past someone with one of those.
It's funny because it did just go red. First of all, it voted for Trump pretty substantially.
The area I grew up in very much went for Trump. I
Right.
mean, I'm from the exurbs.
Right.
The suburbs just outside the Bush, at Karl Rove. They where the Republicans tend to target within the
Exactly.
state.
But all that being said, in the world of Bears people, you're still a fucking Yankee. Because that's how it is.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
If you're above South Carolina, I'm not even joking. When I lived in North Carolina, the people who were further southern were like, you live in the North. I was like, let me tell you, the fucking anybody above North, that's the brilliance of that East Coast center section from Virginia to North Carolina. Those two states are really the only ones that fall in. But they're in this great middle ground where everyone in the South is like, they're fucking Yankees, and everyone in the North is like, those fucking degenerates. Like, so you're nobody's people. But you're somebody's people, the two of you. That's why I have you here. So what I want to talk about tonight, this is going to be our main theme for the panel. I'm going to get into a couple of issues on this. But every time that we have an election and we start talking red and blue, we've gotten incrementally closer, I feel like, specifically since, I don't know, probably maybe Obama got elected the second time. I feel like when we started talking about this, every election we start bringing it up more, which is, it's not about red states and blue states, it's fucking city and country. That's where the divide is. Every state has blue, every state has red. Even Texas, which has 14 hours of red to drive through, it's fucking so much, there's still some places you can go that are blue. So I feel like the disconnect that's happening across the country isn't so much that the people in California and the people of Texas are so different. No, it's the people from LA and the people from Bakersfield. It's the people from Austin and the people from fucking Waco. Like, it's that connect. So the reason that I love that you guys are on, we got someone from Pennsylvania, we got someone from Arkansas originally, correct?
That's right.
Where in Arkansas are you from?
I'm from Garden, Arkansas, which is a place nobody's heard of.
Well, that's, to be fair, I don't think anyone can name any cities in Arkansas at all, other than Little Rock. Anybody? Anything? See? Yeah, no, it's not your fault, man. You could be from the second biggest city in Arkansas, which I just had to say second biggest because I don't know what it is.
Well, there's also Fayetteville.
And that's funny because to me, Fayetteville is North Carolina. Right. So you got yourself out of Arkansas at what age?
3 months ago.
Finally.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
25.
Okay, so what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm here pursuing comedy, man. Well, I guess I kind of misspoke. I went to Oklahoma State when I turned 18, and then that didn't really go well for me, so I joined the Army.
What were you there for at first? Like, what were you trying to do?
Aerospace engineering.
Word.
And then...
That's not funny.
Yeah, not even a little bit. And then I did the Army for a while. And
word up.
Then I went back to Arkansas Tech for mechanical engineering, and there was even less girls there.
Right.
So, I was like, fuck it, I'll be a comic.
But, so my question is then, it sounds like your roots still stay, like you didn't move too much out of the South for the longest time. So my question is, like, if you want to pursue comedy, granted, LA, New York, everybody, but like you could go to other places. Like there are other cities in like the middle of the country where you could like find a city that has a couple clubs and work your way up. What made you like, fuck the South, I'm leaving Arkansas, I'm gonna go to the liberal epicenter of America and move to LA?
Well, nothing in I never said fuck the South. And it wasn't about getting out of the South for me. For me, it was, I had an opportunity to come here. I moved here with 5 other comics from Little Rock.
Oh, shit,
they
really?
Were already coming here. They
like
were
all in the same van and shit?
All in the same caravan.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we moved into a house together. But
Are any of them still here? Do they still make it?
yeah, one of them actually left, but
I was gonna say there's no way all 5 of those dudes are still here.
Yeah, but
Absolutely. Just the odds. I mean, you know, you throw 5 people into trying to be a comic in LA, someone's gonna quit very quickly.
right.
Yeah.
So we came out here for that, but what was the question?
My question is why LA as opposed to somewhere else that maybe is closer to the culture that you grew up around?
Well, for me, I work because Arkansas has such a small scene. Little Rock has such a small scene. Usually during the week, 1 mic a night if you're lucky. Like you might get up 3-4 times a week.
Right.
And so we work the road a lot around Arkansas. We work.
So you kind of did do that.
Right,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
worked Tulsa, Dallas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Missouri. Like did some stuff in Indiana, did some stuff in Kansas, and
I say to point that out because every single place, I try to track it as you said it, every place you just said is like a place that you might be afraid to go if you were an LA comic.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're like, I've been working on my stuff at the Fourth Wall in North Hollywood. Time to go to Little Rock, see if they like these jokes. You know what I mean? Like, so was it a big jump when you came out here to do that?
Well, for me, like, I was into rodeo when I was in high school, and I like I like to challenge myself, and I don't like to back down from stuff. So
Right.
I knew that coming out here, connecting with people would be different. Like my jokes would be received different, and I knew that it would make me a better comic. And I can get up, like I'm averaging like 11 mics a week.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted.
It was about getting the volume.
It was about getting the volume and getting, because I want to be the absolute best that I can be at this.
Right.
And so I had to come where the best are.
Right.
And it snows in New York, so fuck that.
That's a great answer. So Greg, same thing.
Yes.
What's your path from
Oh my God.
alt-right Pennsylvania out to?
Oh Jesus! Well, I was always going to be a writer. I mean,
That was your thing?
I won a ton. I won a whole bunch of writing awards. Like
Nice.
that was. They made up, my college in Philadelphia made up a scholarship for me. Like all
Word,
this
is it
bananas.
named after you?
No, the scholarship. They just kind of invented it. They didn't actually give it a name.
I
but,
love the idea that they would name it after you when they
well,
gave it to you.
I
Like,
would have to do something
congratulations.
successful in life for that to happen. That
Right.
part we're waiting on. But
Well, this is airing now, so don't worry
But
about
no,
it. Bro. You'll be back in a minute.
No, I went. Yeah, I went to Philadelphia to write, and then and then I moved out to Los Angeles, and boy, nothing happened for a long time. It was just I had one script option by Mackay Pfeiffer's production company.
Nice.
It was about a boy band that fights crime through song.
What?
Fuck out of here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Thank
Dude,
you.
sold.
Oh,
Travis,
man.
we have our next show here.
No, I will never forget the day that they told me Ice Cube is interested, but we're not sure we want to go with him. I'm like, let me talk to Ice Cube. I will do this.
my God.
I'm airing all my old business on here now. But no, and then I...
Can I just ask what the name of the boy band was?
well, that was also the name of the script. It was Mac 5. There were 5 of them.
Right.
And I don't think it got any deeper than that.
I was gonna say, does Mac stand for something?
I want to say it was like one of them, like it's been a minute. Like there was,
right.
One was named Michael, maybe, I don't know. I do remember there was a whole thing I made, and I remember being very impressed with myself at the time, was that the criminals would be dirty, and the songs would like clean them up.
What do you mean?
I have no idea. No, that was the whole idea.
Like in one of those washes where
yeah,
all of a
like
sudden
it
the
was
scene
like
is
it made
immediately
you cleaner.
changed.
Like they would. I think I just kept thinking of like Reggie Cathy from Pootie Tang, where he's just like giving off, like steak.
Why
and
didn't
dirt.
you get this sold?
It was optioned. I mean, it was it was out
right,
there.
right.
It was. We were talking to Heather Graham.
So
but, yeah.
Yeah, so have a lot of people.
Yeah, and then nothing. Right, and then nothing happened, and then several years later, I started comedy because that was the problem with the writing. I didn't realize how lonely I was until I started comedy.
Did you guys have much of a culture shock when you moved out here?
Oh, absolutely not. Because I was with all the writer nerds in Philadelphia.
Word.
We were like, we were trying, we were like, nerds in this apartment, big nerd angst, and then we came out here and more of that.
Right. So you had already kind of found your bubble, and then you just like moved your bubble to a
Yeah,
and they congealed into one.
But
bigger.
no, it was more cage than bubble. I mean, it didn't. Nothing
Right.
good came out. I mean, it was it was wonderful. I still have some of the best friends, and we still go to bar trivia on Tuesdays and all that. But it was limiting, man. Like there was nothing.
Your friends who haven't quit and left.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no. There's people, and some of them, my friends, are really starting to make it now with writing and stuff in
Nice.
ways that absolutely I could not spend enough time alone in a dark room by myself to do. So yeah,
Right.
it's amazing.
Dude,
but
it's fine. You're on this. You're just relax. It's all taking off.
Oh,
Like, you know
okay,
when
yeah,
you
no,
feel
I
the
can
first
feel it.
wheel of the plane lift up? That's this moment.
I certainly a sense of vertigo.
So, same question to you. I feel like maybe the answer's a little different.
Yeah, it was a huge culture shock for me. I had a homeless guy break into my house and steal my toenail clippers.
Wait, in Arkansas?
No.
Oh, okay,
in
where?
NoHo. Like, I'd never dealt with that before, so that was definitely weird. And just being around people constantly, I wasn't used to that at all.
Just the density of human life. It's really kind of crazy if you're not used to that. Like, if you're used to having like a half-acre yard, which is like, that sounds crazy to people out here, but that's like, actually, a lot of the country lives on property where it's like you actually can't throw a stone to your neighbor's house, and they're that far apart.
Yeah, I grew up on a horse ranch, so like,
right.
Word. That's what we had was land and space to go. And
what's great, well, I think that one of the things that's bad for you in that way, because my family owns a cattle ranch they've had for a really long time, and I grew up kind of half split between the suburbs and living there. So in a weird way, I'm kind of a mixture. I'm kind of in between the two of you. I've got like half ranch, half like time in around human beings. It does an interesting thing when you have your own land that you own that is that big that you look around and you can't see anyone else's land. The things you just start doing out there when you're like, no one's going to hear. Like, it's dangerous. I think a lot of things head off in the wrong direction because of that.
Yeah, we had a guy in high school that we called him Jack in the Box because he got caught jacking off in a deer stand. It was like a box stand. Whoa. Yeah, sometimes people can hear you, man. Like, sometimes there's a neighbor.
I gotta be honest though, if I can't think of a lot of safer places than a deer stand in the middle of the woods to jerk off, you're like, fucking they found me here?
I mean, I've done it.
Yes. So your buddy's just the one who got caught.
He got caught. Yeah.
Is this the guy who had to go back because they got caught again out here or something?
No. He went back because he found a woman in Arkansas that right before he left, like, she touched his pee-pee.
Right.
And then he was like, I gotta have that again.
Oh my God, I miss the South, man. I haven't heard touched his pee-pee in a long time. It's been a minute and it's refreshing. Not the pee-pee, all right, anyway. Then let's talk about this, because I feel like, so getting your backgrounds and talking about UK, you're living out here surrounded by this fucking liberal nightmare. And I feel like something that's happened that's so upsetting, my views tend to be on the left, and I feel like that's because I worry a lot about people who are poor and people who don't have the things that they need, and I feel like we have enough money to pay those bills, so why shouldn't we? That's kind of how I land on it. But I think it's interesting that the richest people in this country who are on the right have found a way to fool the country people who don't have as much money or need assistance or need help or aren't bringing in that same income as is in the cities. They've convinced them that they're the party that's going to help them out. So it's crazy to me that the rural vote goes to the. Do you think it's just social issues? Are they just voting on like gay marriage and abortion, or do they not realize that the economic, like security and stuff, is with the other group of people?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to jump on it.
No,
I was just going to say, my first thought is that I don't know if it. I bump a lot against the word fooling. I don't know if it's necessarily that they're fooling them with something. It's that they're appealing to a different set of values than we necessarily have. I mean, just from what I've read about such things, it's not. I mean, I'm going to use a whole lot of words that I'm sure I don't know the exact meaning of.
That's like, what this show is.
No. But like it's because I'm on the left too, and I think very similar things. Like we got the rich people give the money for all that, but there is an action. But I certainly understand the idea of the person that their values are centered around the idea of continuing with a tradition, trying not to move things too much. I can't say I agree with it, but I don't think. I struggle with the word fooling because they're not giving them something they don't know. They are giving you They are giving them a continuation of what's there.
Right.
This thing will continue and go on.
I mean, yeah, I think that's true to a degree, but it's also like, I don't know if you've seen this. This is one of my favorite things that's showing up. There are a shitload of Trump voters, specifically 2016 Trump voters, who are posting on Twitter and Facebook, all this stuff is going viral, that they're getting their tax returns back.
Right.
And it's worse
Absolutely,
or not
yeah.
as good as it was. And they're all like, what the fuck? The tax cut, they said it was going to help us out. That's what I mean by fooling.
Right.
Like
But
directly
those
being
people
like,
also gonna
I'm
vote
going to
Trump
help you
anyway.
out. And then they're like, fucking not really.
But
Like,
they're going to vote him in 2020 anyway, because there are. I mean, obviously there are people that are voting specifically on social issues, but.
But I think my question
I don't
is
think
then,
it's like a macro thing.
My question is, I'll direct this to you. Do you think it's possible to reach these voters and be like, sure, here's an example. Bernie Sanders went to Liberty University in Washington, D.C., one of the most conservative universities in the country. And he did a pretty good 45 minutes. Like, it was impressive for the fact that he's like the farthest left guy that's famous. So the thing he said in the speech that resonates with me, and I'm like, this is what we need to try to do, which is like to speak to people who have certain differences with us. And he said, look, you and I disagree on abortion. You think one way, I think another way. Okay, let's just set that aside for 1 second. Let's say we'll talk about it another day. Is that argument going to work on everyone? No. But it hit the room okay because he was like, because there are things we can agree on. And he went down the line of like, I think this and this, we can take care of people, we can look out, we can treat people with dignity, respect, you know, all this shit that we can get behind. And my question is like, will we ever move the country just to not away from those values, but towards the values of like, vote on your own economic interest. Just vote on the people who are going to put more money in your pocket. And I do think the right has fooled a bunch of middle class and lower class people into thinking that the rich people are trying to help the poor people. Not on that side. I don't think so. Do you think that's ever going to happen?
Well, the way I look at it, and I can't speak for everybody.
Well,
from
sure.
my hometown,
Sure.
But for my friends and my family that I know that in 2016, when they voted the way they did, a lot of it had more to do with, which I come from a military family. I'm third generation Army.
Word up.
So everyone in my social circle voted with what happened in Benghazi. And so
but not based on the hearings.
No.
Right.
It was everything that the media blew up.
Right.
And that's how they voted.
They bought it.
And
yeah.
I feel after traveling the country and after doing comedy in so many different places, I feel that we are being sold a false division. I honestly do. I feel like we are listening to the voices of the extremes on both sides, and we think that it's more people than it actually is. Because the most time you get to talking to people, you get to meet people. Like,
true shit, yeah.
Most people are right there in the middle. Me, a lot like people hear the way I talk, and they immediately assume I'm MAGA hat, like I'm a maggot, and
right.
I vote Trump and all that. No, when I voted Gary Johnson, and I'm way more left-leaning than most everybody in my family.
Right.
And so...
Have you moved much politically in your life? Like, do you feel the same way you did when you were like 18, 19?
No, I've moved, fuck no, I don't feel the same way. I've grown so much.
What's different?
What's different is I've met different peoples of different cultures. So.
Did you do that in Arkansas, or do you have to leave to find them?
No, that was out of Arkansas.
Right, absolutely.
I was started in the Army, and then from there it grew.
So then it seems to me, then maybe this is where I'm getting at then, because I really do think that's like the thing. People are like, we gotta convince the moderates to move to our side. That's what both groups are saying. They're like, oh, the independents, as if they're all in the same party. They're independents because they don't like what the fuck's going on. Yeah. But like, the argument is like, you got to get the people in the middle. You got to get the swing states. You got to get the people who vote, but they go Obama, Trump. You know, it's like, no, we got to get the people who don't vote at all. 100 million people didn't vote in the last election at all that could have. Yeah. And getting those people to believe it's worth their time to do it, making it possible and easier for them to do it, obviously, is huge too. But like, I think that getting that exposure to these people who have isolated themselves, maybe by the tradition, maybe like, look, we want to live on our property where we own it, and everything that happens on the property is up to us, and if we want to keep it the way it was in 1955, we fucking are going to do it, and don't come here and try to tell us what to do. Like, can we do that, but also like, bring by some gays? You know, like bring some brown folks around and be like, look, Jorge's really nice. Maybe he should, you know, like, I really, honestly, it's like every time we see this, Dick Cheney's like, no gay marriage. His daughter's like, I'm gay. And he's like, all right, gay marriage. Like, all they need to do is meet someone who's different, and then it changes pretty quickly. Do you think that would happen if you were able to expose your family to the same people that you've met? Would they move like you did?
110%, I believe that. And, like, for me, I was, when I was in basic training, I was one of the guys in my platoon. He was a gay black man from, I believe, California. and just somebody that had a completely different background than me, and we became instant buddies and like still talk to this day. And somebody that I had never thought I would find myself associated with, and now he's one of my best friends. And then when I hear people back home say things that are homophobic or rude or bigoted, I'm like, hey, well, you know, you're not speaking for my fucking friend, because that guy right there, I'll take a bullet for him right now.
Right.
And so, like.
So do you fight those fights a little bit when you go back home, or you have to be like, look, guys, like, because that's the hard thing to do. The hard thing to do is to come from a very bigoted or conservative family, and I speak to this as personal experience, and to go back home after you've had your world opened up a little bit, and then when they say some shit, go, you know what? And it's your choice. Like, is it worth it? She's 94. Should we just let her count out the days? Or it's like, well, my cousin's like 12, and if he keeps saying this shit, I'm gonna slap the shit out of him. So like, do you play that game? Do you do a lot of that when you go home?
I do, but for me, like, I'm glad that I wasn't written off at 16 and just said, oh, well, you're that way. We're going to set you over here and never allow you to grow or never think you could grow. Because I've changed a lot as a person. And so I feel like everybody deserves that chance to be educated and to be moved. But some people don't want it. And if they don't want it, fuck it. Then they don't get to, I mean, we don't need them.
I love that too. Another thing I love hearing from people from the South that I miss, which is like, fuck it, we don't need them. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we're so quick to cut people loose. I don't know what that is, but there's something about the South. But I think that everyone does it, but we'll say it to your face. That's the thing, because people in the North just ghost you, and you're like, whatever happened to Ted? Greg, do you?
I'll let you know.
Right. Greg, do you have people in your family that don't share your commie, pinko views?
Well, one, I was more center left and have felt myself moving left in the last couple of years.
In what ways? Like economically or?
More economically than anything else. I think I was, you know, looking back, I was very much a neoliberal, you know, the idea more socially.
Clintonian.
And then, yeah, right, exactly. I came up with all that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. They finally got the country
back. But then
and
after,
like
you know, the election of Trump and, you know, the idea, I've started to come around to some of those similar ideas about if we pushed more money into places where, you know, maybe it's not going so well, as opposed to trying to shame the people quite so much, able to help them. I was able to come around to some of that idea with the money. But to answer your actual question, in my large family, you know, I'm one of the few members of my family that went to college. Like, it's a lot of working class people working in day in, day out. So we only had one actual Trump voter, and it's, you know, of my like 6 aunts, it's the one we still give her hell about it occasionally in the holidays. So it's I have friends certainly that voted for Trump, but I only know one of them that's like consistent. I'm going to the rallies, you know, I'm into the fandom aspect of it. You know, so it's, and in those cases, I simply try to avoid the conversation with someone like that. Because if I discuss that with you, we're not talking politics. We're arguing favorite wrestlers or the football team. It's something where it speaks to identity versus economics.
Right, absolutely. Do you think that, I kind of want to forward that same question to you that Bair answered, which is like, do you think that we'll be able to reach out in that way and be like, look, let's keep debating the social shit we disagree on. It's tough to settle on, I guess we should wait on giving people rights, but if that's what we have to do, to just like pause some of the conversations so that we can appeal to things that just make sense to them. Like I think, and I say this, like, I think all the time, I'm like, I'm gonna go back to Texas like all of 2020, and I'm just gonna spend it out in the like countryside that my family lives in, going like farm to farm, talking to them about how like, I think democratic socialism might work out for you a little bit better, honestly. I really do. Like, and just have those conversations in the living room. I don't think there's any other way around it. And I think the fact that we do write people off and we go, oh, you're from there, you think that. We don't even try to have those conversations. And then when we do, they become shouting matches and you're just yelling at people for being, thinking something different. And that's not my attitude at all. Like, like I said, I come from that mixed background. It was both groups of people in my family. I'm lucky that I grew up liberal at all because it's probably like 70-30. Like, I'm like 70% very conservative family and just enough to be like, you're not allowed to say those words just because your uncle fucking says them all the time. God, I love your laugh so much, Greg. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I do. Every now and then it's like this light and it just reverberates. All right, so last question. Do we think I've been talking to a lot of people about like how social media has affected the like vitriol that everyone is experiencing. Like I think that social media is pretty clearly the reason why we're sure we've always been arguing, but now people are fucking angry, like truthfully angry, and like we're having way more violent outbursts on the left and right. People are in, people, oh, we're about to fucking civil war. Agree with you, too far. We're all, a lot of us, on the same page. But that being said, do you think there's any way we could flip that and have the same effect of the social media that's got everybody pissed off? Could we like use that to reach into people's lives and be like, look, exposure to people who are different? Could it be used for that, or is our human nature just to use it to be shitty?
I think we get Apple to put a spring and like a boxing glove right on the computer.
Looney Tunes style.
Every time you're an asshole, just fix that problem real quick.
I feel like as long as they're made in America, fine.
Actually, the truth is that's what he said, but as like, but not as a joke, as an actual thing of moderation.
Right.
I mean, the fact that it's for me one of the saddest but normal things you see on Twitter is whenever Jack, who invented it, says something about this is something new we're doing with Twitter, and if you read the mentions, it's almost invariably people being like, okay, what are you doing about the Nazis? Why are the Nazis still here?
Right.
And that's, if you could, I mean, and I'm not, and obviously free speech is something we have to protect and all this kind of shit.
Sure.
But we could keep the Nazis out. We don't have to have, non-stop white supremacists yelling at you on the thing. We don't have to do that.
That's a pretty
radical
radical
Because we keep them out of other countries.
Greg.
Okay, I'm going to put down. Because if you go to, that's the whole thing. You don't see Nazis on social media if you put Germany as your country. Because you're not allowed to see it there. It's actually hate speech. They know how to why am I yelling about it? You guys were being funny. But you can moderate it on it. It does exist. Like
that's a big thing in the news right now because he went on Joe Rogan's podcast and it fucking exploded because all these people jumped down his throat for saying that Twitter is a basic human right and that at the same time he bans people constantly for reasons that it's a group of people. But like we're having this big issue where now Twitter has become the main source of communication for so many things, including the president, right? Yeah. And we're trying to sort this out as we get through it, and I'm curious if I think our goal should be not just to mitigate the destruction, because that's what we talk about with social media. We're like, this is fucking out of control. We gotta stop this. Yeah. We gotta flip it. It's not going anywhere. It's gonna stay, and it's just gonna get bigger and broader. If we can try to just throw a few rocks in the river, move it a little bit towards the direction of like being helpful as opposed to getting us all a platform to bitch at each other.
Well, also like. Talking about censoring Nazis, and
sure.
I am 110,000% for punching Nazis in the fucking face. So, but when a rattlesnake rattles, when I walk, I never get mad at a rattlesnake for letting me know where he is. Right. That just means that I ain't gonna step on him and get bit. So if the Nazis want to like spout their hateful bullshit, let them spout their hateful bullshit, and they'll be like, oh shit, that's a fucking snake. Stay the fuck away from him.
Right.
That's how I look at it. But y'all used a word. I don't even know some of the words y'all are using, so I don't feel like I'm the best man for the conversation.
No, dude.
You can tell, me and books don't really get along.
Oh, you were a fucking mechanical engineer. What do you mean? I mean, you went to engineering school. I went to writing school. Believe me, you're probably smart.
You spent a substantial amount of time studying how numbers work. You got us beat, dude.
You should see me try to calculate a tip. It's a disaster. No. You're an actual smart man.
Let's just keep saying nice things to Bair. I love it. I like your
I didn't mean to say that as like an insult. You motherfucking smart. No, that wasn't like I wasn't.
No, all I'm saying is that like when someone spouts that hateful shit, like that to me says, oh, that's somebody I never need to associate with. I don't have to associate with.
Right.
And if any of my friends start associating with them, I'm like, hey, that's an asshole. So yes, I understand what you're saying, and they shouldn't be able to spout their hateful shit, and they definitely shouldn't be able to influence policy, and they shouldn't be able to hurt any group of people or anybody.
Right.
But, I'm happy I know where they're at.
But that's, I think, part of the problem is I agree with that too, and I'm not for silencing or censoring anyone really, because I agree with the idea of like if you got hateful shit to say it so we know what the fuck you really think. Yeah, I really believe in that. But the problem is that it's anonymous so much like on social media. That's the problem. The most hateful, terrible, dangerous shit that's happening is anonymous and no one's living. So it doesn't tell us where they are. It just tells us that they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which kind of makes everybody nervous, and then it gives people who are kind of starting to agree with what they're saying the freedom to be like, you know what, there's enough people out there who agree with my crazy Nazi shit. I'm going to keep going.
They're fucking cowards. They're hiding behind a fucking screen and the username. They're
Right.
pussies.
That's why we do video podcasts on this thing. We have
My
to
name's
own
Bair.
the fuck.
I stand by everything I said here tonight.
That's our equivalent of a release. We don't do that here. So you just have to look down the barrel and say, you mean it. All right, let's move on to our last thing. Very excited to do this new thing that we're doing right now with Miss Hannah Canetti. She's going to come up and give us some of our YouTube comments that we've gotten throughout this performance. Yeah. We're short on mic, so I'm going to let her. No, you can sit. She's going to stand right in between us here, and just hand her your handheld mic. Hannah Canetti, everybody. Show some fucking love.
Hello.
What do we got on YouTube tonight?
Well, in regards to Chris Heist,
He might have had to take off. It was he was about to turn into. Well, I don't have a good thing for
well,
that.
in regards to you, Chris Heist, wherever you are, Reese Withered Poon says there's some clothes in his holes.
That's a winner. That's a winner.
And Jerry Mansplainer, I don't know why I looked at you, says he looks like Rasputin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
He looks
that's
now.
strong.
That's a winner.
I can't believe I haven't heard that before. That's so good.
Right. I mean,
it's on
someone
point.
riffed that like at a mic or something. Yeah, that's a
Right. Oh, you get it. You totally get it. Keep going.
In regards to Bair and Greg, Dan Rather Not says
Dan Rather Not.
That's a winner.
Bair looks like he's not named for the animals, but they're right to bear arms. That's not.
Oh, wow.
That's from Dan Rather Not. Oh, this is good. Michael Regilio.
Heard of him?
Says Little Rock is what I call my penis. That's right. Okay. Buddy Light says Greg looks like Stephen King wrote screenplays, not novels.
I think that's a compliment.
I was going to say, yeah, I was waiting for Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. That's a nice reference. Yeah.
That version.
Loves Stephen King.
That version of Stephen King is more attractive.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
you know, like the
screenplay
80s, like
version.
full-on
Yeah.
cocaine Tommy Knockers line. Yeah.
Like the hot Stephen King. A person says, you can tell who was in the rodeo and who plays bar trivia based on their shoes.
That's pretty good. I don't know if that's in the shot, but I love that, and that is
Your shoes
accurate.
are nicer than mine, Bear.
That's it.
Everything else wonderful. Hannah Canetti with the comments, everybody. Thank you so much. Wonderful. We're trying out new shit because we used to just we would just kind of go to the feed and see if anybody had commented, but nobody watches this, so we're trying to beef it up and put some new shit in. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank all of my guests tonight, Chris Heist, Kyle Chrise. I just have been loving how fun it is to say those two names back to back all week. I've been saying Chris Heist, Kyle Chrise as many times as I can. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys, Greg Benevent and Bair, so much for being here. Let's get a round of applause for all of our guests. Wonderful, and those who stuck around. I really do appreciate it. Next week, we've got a great fucking show. We have Sasha Boggs is going to be on the show. We have Mr. Spence Griffith is going to be on the show. And a guy named Boogie Whip that you guys do not want to miss. I fucking love this guy.
Boogie Whip's fucking awesome. Y'all need to watch.
Yeah, it's legit. It's going to be very good. We're going to chat, and then I think after that also, you can catch me and Boogie Whip and Travis on Behind the Fourth Wall because we're going to do an episode of his podcast, the three of us. So thank you guys all for tuning in to Robbing the People. Good night, or more than likely, good morning. Thank you.